Alright, so I just got it out of the oven. We'll set up a tripod here real quick. But we don't have to hold this thing. But while it's still warm, unlike what I'm doing, you want to grab you a couple flathead screwdrivers. You want to start tugging that lens apart from the rest of the housing. Here we go. Fish. Okay. Alright, anyways. Did you go flatheads? Like such. Where I started on the other one was where I could get into the easiest, which was this corner. It's kind of hot, so don't burn yourself. And be careful not to try not to gouge and break the thing to a million pieces or anything like that. But it is a little scary. Once you get in there behind it, though, you can start really getting in there. Man. There she goes. Come on, man. Alright. Well, I'm just trying to work with it while it's warm still. Come on. All right. Good Lord. Man, that sealant they use on these things, don't mess around. Come on. Here we got her most of the way. Letting go now.
F250 on the back, 2017. I don't know the mileage yet, but I'm thinking around 50,000 miles.
Trying to keep it from coming apart and throwing the damn thing on accident.
What are they?
Alright. I think my first one was easier than that, but yeah, we got them apart.
They're just eating up the tires.
Okay.
Yeah, get some air.
Take this center out of the way. Off to the side somewhere. We'll put it in the truck so it don't get no dust on it.
It did vintage from the damage, but the transfer case, all of that looks good. And I think the engine's fine too, just with the oil pan. But that's plenty of time.
Next thing you're gonna need is
We're still good. But as you can see, this is where
it's a T10.
was. I think it kind of rolled over, and they just bent the frame right there. But the motor itself right here,
You got one right there,
really good. I mean, you
one right there,
it's a lot cheaper.
and one up here.
You know,
You're gonna pull all three of those out.
this is pretty much complete. All that's missing is the alternator here, and overall it looks good. I mean, AC compressor, yeah. Off right there. We'll have to inspect it further
Set
on.
these tiny screws somewhere.
Fuse box here is damaged.
We ain't gonna lose them.
No keys inside. The interior is okay. The one seat is good. The electronics, the rear seats are good. So that's a good plus. Some parts here might be savable, intercooler and whatnot. And then the motor, transmission, transfer case, rear end, tailgate is pretty good. I think someone can also use it for parts or something because these things are very high dollar, especially the flat right here. You guys can see we have to get one for this truck. And then a tail light. This tail light, you know, you can still get something for it from this and the module and stuff. But overall, I think it's a pretty good buy. It's got the rear bumper and stuff.
All right.
So you can get one rear end.
You get your lens separated from the actual housing.
5,000, what was it? Right under 5,000?
Here's what you got. I'm just now noticing there's a fingerprint in there, and I've never done that. So I don't know who did that.
We bid it on it for
But
like 8,000, 9,000 or something like that.
there's what you need. That's what's getting painted.
Like 8, 9, 10, 12,000
In my scenario,
diesel ever.
my lens cover,
Ever.
it is
I don't know. I haven't
in
seen
bad
it.
shape. It's pretty rough. Like the top's all faded and everything. So I'm gonna wet sand mine. I'm gonna start with 1,000 grit and sand it. And now I'm gonna head up to 1,500 and then to 2,000 grit. And I'm gonna take my polisher with some compound. I use Griot's. I'm gonna use that and I'm gonna polish it out, and it should come a lot clean, or a lot more clean than it is. So, because I don't want to paint all these and then have that. So, and really, you need to clear coat it afterwards too. I haven't done my other side yet. So I might see what that's gonna take for me to do that. But stick it out of the way somewhere.
You better eat your face, cause I'm sliced right in front of you. The Jersey Mike's thing, a silver button.
Oh, the burn ones?
Alright.
All the time somebody wanted it.
Well, I said that I did.
Oh, we could have bought it, yeah.
I pulled the reflector out. Paint the reflector separately. And it was super difficult to get back in. So I think this time I'm gonna leave the reflector in. And I scuffed everything with literally just steel wool. So you're gonna have a lot of excess pieces of wool down there, but I mean this plastic scuffs super easy. So you just want to scuff it and make sure it's make sure it can get bonded with. So it's kind of a pain to get all back in the reflector and everything, but just take your time. The more time you spend prepping it, the better outcome you'll get.
But yeah.
And what I use to paint it,
Let's go.
I was gonna get some actual paint, but I figured I'd check this stuff out anyways. I did test it on my
So it is the next day.
metal here first,
It is raining now. We did make it home safely.
just to see.
It's very good.
And I mean
I'll show you guys around
it matched up really good
how it's looking right now. We're actually taking off a few pieces already because we
with
know
the
we're gonna come get some parts.
the truck's paint. So I went ahead and gave it a go, but I got this stuff from O'Reilly's. It's Duplicolor Perfect Match. So after I sanded it with the or scuffed it with the steel wool, I used this scratch filler primer. It's scratch filler gray primer. I'll give you the parts number is BPR0031. So I used that stuff after I got done scuffing it and cleaned it up. I think I put 2 coats on, but if I do it again, on that headlight I'd probably put 3. That's what I'm gonna do on this one. And then for my truck, since mine's the I think it's like I forget what the hell the color name is. It's like a sterling gray or something like that. But this duplicates original Ford colors. It's called magnetic gray. The number is BFM 0417. And I did 2 coats of this stuff too. It's got some flakes in it and stuff to help it match the truck's paint. I didn't have really any issues out of it, thankfully. It took a lot to get it to cover. You want to be careful inside the actual lens or reflector housing. Some people, that's another thing I wanted to mention, some people don't paint the top reflector housing because they're worried about their turn signals or running lights not reflecting or not being bright enough. I've got Amazon LEDs in mine, and they match, or they reflect really good still. There wasn't even a difference from the original chrome reflection. So I didn't have any issues out of it. And the more paint match, the better in my case, or for me. So I must say that I can only recommend you do the same and paint the top reflector, because I think it looks way better. But and last but not least, I guess I ought to mention this. That's not it.
So we can hear it run. But overall, I think that's about it, guys. I think that's about it.
Clear coat I used. It's another Duplicolor product. I don't think this would be hard enough to use on paint. I'm not a paint guy. I don't know nothing about it hardly, but if I was going to paint the truck outside of a lens, I don't think I would use this stuff. But it's a 1K clear, apparently. UV protection, gasoline resistant, scratch resistant, and it's an extreme pearl finish. So it had some metallic flakes in it too. So I think that kind of helped with the paint matching process, because the paint itself didn't have as many flakes. But once I added this on there, it really kind of came together. So I'm gonna get this thing scuffed up and then I'll come back. Alright. So this is what I've got after I scuffed it. When I took it, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff if you use steel wool, all kinds of little metal shavings. So you want to make sure. I took it over to my air compressor and I blew it off. But this is what you're left with. Now, what I did is I literally just used my jack, and I took a piece of metal wire and I hung it up just right there, just like so. Let it settle where it needs to. I'm not painting the back side of it or nothing like that. Just front side and the reflector.
And one interesting bit is that when you drive this way,
anyways,
instead of having 5 mile bumpers like every car in South used to have, this has 10 mile bumpers. So you can, wow.
Have a primer? We'll get going on. Maybe. Let me shake this for a minute.
You're gonna have issues
Yeah.
with sweeps. And then, so basically, we got a piece of sheetrock left over, filled out a re-slope before
That's a stretch filling primer.
This is our niche, nice and modern. Goes all
Keep
the
in
way to
mind,
the edge. We studded it
again,
and we put
I am not a painter.
it's not a low
This isn't what I do for a living. I tinker with it, with things like this, but there's definitely people that can do better than me. better to hang these up, by the way, with this can if you're using this Duplicolor stuff. Because I tried it laying flat on the first one, and these cans don't want to lay, or they don't want to spray whenever it's laying flat. They kind of suck, really. It's the only paint match one I had local to me, so.
Any corners that are questionable, you force flush. Okay, don't just leave it, you know? Nothing works by accident. You gotta make sure it's golden.
This is definitely a pretty heavy first coat. But I'm just trying to get it done tonight. So, if you want to do multiple white coats, and if you want to wet sand in between coats and everything for a flawless finish, if you're that picky about it, then you go right ahead and do so. But, you know, you'll see me do that. None on this anyway. Maybe if it was on the body, well, if it was on the body, then yeah, but
we prepped everything, we floated,
again, these are
and then we tiled
just headlights.
Could have done better.
My main reasoning for all this is that stupid orange reflector.
And all that stuff, so that takes up a little bit of time. Day number 2. So we got the side
I was gonna get new headlights, and I just decided, hey, I might as well.
wall in this morning.
If I want to get rid of these anyways, then what's it gonna hurt if I try to paint them and see if I want to keep them like that?
So basically all our weight.
And I think I will for a little while.
And now what we gotta do is install the back wall. And it's starting to come together, so I'm just gonna finish up. Turn off the rest of the shower, and then we'll get started on the floor. Alright, so we got all the tile done on the walls. Next thing is the shower pan, and I'm gonna put in all these shower pans. And the biggest thing is, alright, is that I don't cut my hole until after I am done floating and tiling the wall.
I'm gonna let that one sit and dry for a minute.
The reason for that is because I don't want to trip over it and I don't want to screw up this flame.
Show you guys what we got so far.
Basically afterwards,
The things you want to be careful with are all those little cracks in there, or all those little ridges. I mean, you want to make sure you get in all those. So I'm gonna let this sit for a minute, and I'll come back after it's kind of dried to the touch. And I've got my salamander going there too. So, but once it's dried to the touch, then I'll bring you guys back on, and I'll put another coat on. All right, so
This one out of the package.
we'll show you what that looks like. It's kind of dried up a little bit here.
There is a possibility that you can screw this up.
Still,
If you have
still somewhat wet in some areas, but if you look at the face of it
a
here,
nice gap here, and you get the jumbo wax, you have the potential of doing something like this. You're gonna go like this. You're gonna drop your wax.
dried up enough that we can go ahead and
So you go to set the toilet in.
throw on the next coat.
If when you go to set the toilet in, you're not all the way where you want to be, so you're going straight down.
That's what we're gonna do.
You're not going to get good compression. What possibly could happen is you get stuck here, and you might start moving backwards. Okay? And you get in a position, you think, oh great, I gotta get some. What you've done is you've collapsed your hole. Okay? And you end up, just gonna do a demonstration here. I've seen this before many times. We'll get a call from the customer, they're like, this is back in the days when I worked warranty for a renovation company. And I'd open up the toilet and I'd see something like this. Alright? Instead of a nice big 3-inch hole, they got this. Alright? That looks like the size of a drain for the sink. You're gonna run into trouble. So you don't want to be forcing the wax back or sliding it left and right. When you drop your toilet on, you want to be over top of it, go straight down. If that means you need 2 or 3 people to help you, then you get them. Okay? But you've got to make sure you go straight down on your wax to
No,
avoid that trouble. Alright?
salamander back kept on me.
So I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to use this one later to reinstall this toilet. Let me just go through a couple of other options. You all might have seen this before, and I use this on a toilet in my a bathroom video mag in my 450. And downstairs we have this place. The floor downstairs is over a crawl space, and the crawl space is really short. It's old school ETA construction, so the floor has a lot of movement. And so what we did down there to solve the toilet problem is I had the toilet flange sitting on the plywood, and then we had flooring, and because of the height of the flooring, I had to add some beef to it. We put in this rubber gasket here. Okay, and it goes over the holes. And this rubber gasket replaces the need for wax. Okay? So then what happens is the toilet sits on this, and as the house moves and breathes, so does the gasket. See that? So if the toilet is moving around in position all year round with different seasons, the gasket maintains contact with the toilet and you have a good seal. Wax doesn't do that. Once wax is pushed and collapsed, it does not spring back in place. So if you have an old house where you're in a crawl space and you get weird weather, having a foam gasket like this might be a good solution for you. This was available at Home Depot. If you want to search it out, we'll put the, I think it might be available on Amazon, closet flange extension. Okay? And it also comes with a flange extender. Now this ring is going to be good for this situation. Here, check this out. We are adding big ring. Now look what happens. All of a sudden the flange is lower than my finished floor. Okay? You don't want that. Because if I put this on here with that lower than that, my toilet's not even going to make contact with the flange. Okay? That's a serious problem. Make sure you've always got that at least flush or quarter inch higher. So what they do is they sell this little extension kit. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Now I set this up so your bolts are, when you're looking at it like a clock face, you're at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Nice and square and level. Don't go like this, or the toilet might have a potential to pop right out of the holes, okay? Now you're high enough. That might even be a little bit too high, okay? But what you want to do is you want to screw these 4 corners right into the existing ABS.
I think that might put us to an area where we're
So I have ABS ring. You might be on the
good on primer anyway.
If it's on cast, you can't use this. You can't use this extender on cast, okay? They have a different one, and
Just really want to make sure.
most people in the world do not want cast plumbing anymore. There's extended toilet bolt kits as well, because when you start building up your toilet kit, you might not have bolts long enough to get above the new toilet when you start stacking all this together.
Especially if you didn't pull that reflector off. I'm worried that some of that orange is going to show through.
To get an extension,
But,
okay?
I think we're going to be alright.
Extension, C. And in between this is a gasket under compression, and it seals everything, okay? That's why we're screwing it down to create compression.
Yeah.
Don't use silicone. I've seen
I think I'm about good for that.
silicone and throw in a Teflon ring. It's lazy.
Show you guys what we got.
Always leaks. Anywhere where you have water sitting, silicone will give up. And eventually, because the toilet should sit there for the lifetime.
A little more chrome.
We don't reinstall them every year.
Anywhere.
But if you have any silicone in that vicinity, water will get underneath and between that silicone.
Smooth coverage. Smooth as we can get it anyway.
And when the substrate starts to rot around your toilet, all your screws are already rotting wood. And so the wood swells, and then everything starts to get loose, and then your toilet starts to wiggle. And as your toilet wiggles, the wax starts to open up worse and worse and worse. Next thing you know, the wax is broken, the water is on the toilet.
Again,
This is what happens.
we'll let this sit and dry for a little while, then I'll get back to you guys when we start painting.
So only somebody can throw the toilet in.
Alright. That is our second coat and the heavy coat fully dried.
I'm not sure how I can't remember how I did it. It must have
And it all looks pretty good.
Okay, now it looks like I'm gonna cut a hole.
Up under there, up inside of there,
What's do?
even back in there. Everything's looking good, so I think we're gonna go ahead and take our paint, throw some paint on it.
And that is what I need.
I will say that it takes most of a can for one headlight.
Now I can cut that line and cap. And then
It does not have that much in
three
it.
right there. Now I'm getting coming.
I sat and shook this before I started the video back up quite a bit. So.
Maybe we'll get lucky and be able to revert it, turn it into a small cap. Now,
Alright.
this is one of these situations you want to have paper towels with you. If we can avoid having to cut open the ceiling downstairs, that'll save me another 4 or 5 hours worth of work. So we're going to just keep slowing down here. There's 2 things we have to avoid. That line drops out beneath the floor here, and I'm not going to be able to have access to it. Alright, this weighs a couple of pounds. Okay? That ought to keep it where it is. We get the copper ring on it. We can. Alright. So even if that falls down now, it's not going to be a problem. Okay. Whew. Now, step 1. Alright, well, at least we can finish the flooring now. Now I've got to figure out if I have enough flexibility to get enough of that line in this cavity. Well, this is going to get messy.
I did notice on the last one too,
Alright.
in this one now, it starts to splatter after a bit. Just some little dribbles. They aren't terrible, but
reaching,
I don't like it.
cut it,
So watch for that too. I don't know if it's the flakes that are in it or what.
and
It's
then
just a can after all.
pull the old line out so they don't get water everywhere, because there's water sitting in that line. From here, it goes down and then back up. So that's like a P-shot for water there. I don't want that water going into anywhere else. Yeah, we are going to have water laying down. There's just no way around it. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a spill catcher. I'm going to lay this on the drywall for this one. These absorbent towels ought to catch whatever jerky mess I make. I'm going to get that in here. Even if the drywall gets a little wet, it'll still dry. It's only really here for 2 days. Okay? Okay. I got most of it. Yeah, I'll be able to put an elbow on that and crimp it. Okay. Okay. Now this cutter is starting to get dinged up in my toolbox too much. So it doesn't cut very nice without crushing the pipe. This is why I'm having trouble. Now, I should answer this question over here. I get this question a lot about these rings versus the pinch clamps. So this system was a long time ago, right? Basically, it's just a ring and they work great if it's pinched properly, okay? And if it fails, it's going to fail right away. So you got to pressurize your lines before you move on, because you just don't know. There's it's an overlap system.
Alright.
So it's, if it doesn't pinch right and it comes
One
off this
coat.
nut here that's sticking through, just it'll blow right off.
It's still
That's why I
spotty.
like the solid rings.
So
The solid rings never fail.
my main focus was back in there trying to get that all coated, because that's a
System is better.
pretty hard spot to get. You can see against this inside of those right there. Still need some.
These tools are $100, $150.
But-
I get them for $30. 2 more. And we'll get on with the demo.
That's our first coat. We're gonna leave her sit for a few.
In here.
Come back again. Same process. Starting to look good.
See what's on.
Alright.
You can actually throw a thick bead. Okay? And then
For a second coat of paint.
set the board in the bead. You fill that gap with something like this. It's sealed up forever and it'll be waterproof. Then that's a lot easier and probably a lot more cost effective than buying a roller. Pretty cheap. So now I have a plan. I gotta go shopping. I need a little bit more support. Wasn't sure what was going to be found here, but this is just a thin plywood. Okay, so this particular side comes with these wooden blocks. Already an adhesive attached to the side of this. It's got a 1/4 inch gap. So it's great to put this out. You put a 1/4 inch plywood on there or something, you paint it in, trim it up like I did. because that's not doing anything about it. Okay? This board was installed to be the back of the same depth as this. So I'm going to just save that and then we'll move on. Alright, well now it's time for me to prep for my tile. And in order to do that, I want to get rid of this drywall surface because of the fact that this can hold water. And I'm not going to get rid of a lot, I'm just going to cut it like about 4 inches or something. And I'm going to replace it with the Schluter board or the dent shield that I just bought because I went to the store to get another Schluter board and all that stuff. I'm loving it. So I picked up dent shield because in a tub environment, I don't need to worry about having a waterproofing system. I just need to make sure that I have a good quality tile backer that isn't going to be deteriorated if it gets, in contact with some water, which will be temporary. So dent shield is a perfect solution for that situation. It's a fiberglass-based board. Don't recommend it in showers personally, but that's because it requires silicone in order to have good joints. Or you're using Schluter Curdy membrane. If you're going to go through all that hassle, you might as well buy the Curdy board right out of the gate because it's the same price as those two products put together. And a hell of a lot easier to work with if you can get your hands on it. So here we are today, being creative and bobbing and weaving with the COVID supply chain issue. This is my tile. You might have seen this before. We're using it in the bathroom, in the shower. And we're going to just bring it over here because it's going to look lovely. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to walk through my process, the way my brain thinks. So it's a little scary.
It's not bad. I need to
can
keep
see
a light
that
with
this
you
is the
just so you can
of that other wall that was
see
here.
anything
But I'm
you're
putting in
missing.
a 2x6 wall here. And it only comes to this point. 2x6 plus the comes to here, like really just to the edge of my floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my 2x6 box, and I'm going to trim and then attach the tub to the box with the added part of the trim, and that'll give me an extra 8 to 3/16, and that'll give me positive contact on there. Okay, it's not a real big deal, just going to be a little bit creative, and that will be fine. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to put a leg here, a leg there, something like a 2x4 across on the bottom just to give it some stability, a 2x6 across here so that I can attach my tub to the structure, and that leaves nothing but space so that when my plumbing comes tomorrow, then I can put in a proper backer piece and all that sort of stuff, okay? Now, the other challenge here, of course, is the floor has a slope, so I need to use a laser level, draw my line, build my box. Remember, just because your floor is not level doesn't mean you want to build everything else not level, okay? Your counter's level, the tub is level, I want the box level, the tile should be level. And you want to have a finished spot, and then everything grows to make contact with the floor. So I want to just take a measurement here, and we're going to just remind us that this is 11 and 5/8. Let's do some tub math. 11 and 5/8. Okay? Now, right here, I'm also going to want to leave room, build in a gap of about an eighth of an inch so that I can silicone the finish, okay? So I got an eighth there. I'm going to use a 1/8 grout line there, alright? And that is good. So that's grout line, tile. And what I want to do is I want to build this 2 tiles tall. So we'll do that again, alright? So that's 22 and 10, 11, 12/8. Which is 23 and 4/8 or that's the height of the finished tile off my deck. Alright? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna mark that right here. 23 and a half. This is really
Alright.
it's really crazy.
I think
my tile finishes.
I'm pretty happy with.
And I want my box here to be built so that the tile that's on top of the box finishes at this height as well.
The coverage I got.
Sounds a little bit wonky, but that's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to drop my laser level on this line right here, so I can measure at this point and measure at this point to that line in space to create the perfect height box. So that when I'm done, I can take my wood dimension, add my tile backer and my tile to have this tile line all the way across. Little preparation goes a long way in this environment, and you also can cheat a little bit and take a hair.
I'm gonna let that dry for a while.
We have the ability to.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and start clear coating.
Finished height, because I'm just a warning there.
All right. I'll take my broken oil out here.
From corner to the middle, and then from middle to the other side.
I'll show you guys the second coat.
You can scratch the front and then break it, just like commercial drywall. What makes it commercial? The 5/8.
Looking really good, to be honest.
Glass fiber in it. Well, this is the same kind of thing, only it's like glass fiber on steroids, right? It's just crazy. And here we go. As little dust as possible. That's it. You don't even have to cut the
I think
I'm gonna make sure I got a fat
we're ready for a clear coat.
down, and I'm gonna set it in my.
So I'm gonna set you guys down, and I'm gonna get started on the first coat of that.
Because we don't want to have any of our tile actually attached to wood, right? Expansion, contraction, we'd rather have something that we can tile on. This is going to be a tile backer system.
Yeah, I shook this for a while before I turned the camera on.
For weeks of rain.
And this is the gloss pearl finish, so it's got its own sparkly flakes in it.
Residential installation. And if you have ever seen the yellow panel on the outside of commercial buildings, this is what they're using. This is their weatherproofing system for us up here. Okay? They just stick all this stuff, cover the whole outside of the house. There's no building material on the outside of commercial anymore that absorbs the moisture. So you got this outside of rock wool. It's a great little system, right? Nothing's soaking up the water, and then you've got steel stud. So generally speaking, any water that gets past the facade really has nothing to cling to. It just drains to the bottom and runs in. Alright, now I need my caulking gun. Here we go. Seal and bond. Okay. This is in Canada. Down in the States, it'll say Loctite. Right? Pretty sure they're the same company, but some of these products have to have different names in different countries. I'm not exactly sure what the rules and regs are for all that. Okay. Now we're going to just set a nice thick bead here, alright? There's no better seal than just not having a gap available, right? Walk right up to it. We are going to absolutely fill this space here. The ceiling line, which is going to absolutely waterproof this joint. Okay, so that no water pools on the tub edge and have anywhere to pool. So now we put our tile on, we can finish with silicone, and we're going to be just fine. Just going to tool it in with another piece of leftover. Acrylic tubs, you can't really get a good bond with silicone. Right? And in this situation, because our tub goes down, if I don't fill that space, water's going to sit there, and whatever silicone I have on the surface is going to be rendered useless. I use that all together. You can't have water sitting in the silicone. It lifts it up, and it goes right behind anyway. Like as if it was never there. This stuff is nasty, but it works, right? Like that really does work. I know you're gonna look at that going, wow, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And you're probably right. But the point is I can't have the water sitting there. Because no matter what I use, if the water gets in the drain and sits there, it's gonna fail. This will at least give whatever silicone I have a fighting chance because it's gonna keep the water in. Alright, well let's get the rest of this tub covered. Then we can get it tiled. First, I'm going to show the plumbing installation in just a minute. And I'll show you the finishing touches because I have to have a trap door at the end here as well because it's a jetted tub. So you have to have access to the wood. So the last
That's a pretty hefty first coat, so.
I'll show you how to get that mounted so that you can have that removed.
That's how it looks.
And then, other than that, put on the finishing trims and get this sucker all cleaned up and we're good to go.
Just gotta be cautious for runs.
This product, I chose.
Don't want those in there, but
I'm not sure where to find this product. I'll put a link in the video description. But it has a tub spout. It has a removable shower wand, so you can rinse down your tub. And then it has a handle that's a thermostatic valve, so you can adjust and preset your temperatures. Okay, all you gotta do is turn it on, and you always get the same heat in the tub as you're used to. So it's really simple. You don't have to guess and add water.
but it's looking good.
You just set it to where you want it. Set it and forget, right? It's really sleek. This is the plate, okay, that goes on the wall. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right? That's going to be just so sexy. Okay, let's get this
Again, we'll let her dry.
functionality here.
Be back when that dries.
And then
Okay,
where I
so I
want
gave
it.
that quite a bit of time to dry. I went ahead and took
Down the
in
stairs, but
my
like I said, if you want it perfect,
lens and wet sanded it while I was inside. I need to polish it. We'll do that out here after this coat. That way it's all ready. So I get done here. And then,
have the
first
angle
coat
going
looks
to the
pretty
very
damn
side.
good on
You
there.
can adjust it. No worries, that's what the brush for. Good, I'm just going to use my square.
Oh yeah.
Make my spot. Now, I like to cut on the block now, because of the back of the left side. That's good. And then a little square in one. I don't have to go all the way. Just not to disturb it. Like I mentioned, this is an ultralight paint. This is a lot easier to work with than the cheaper cement.
Alright.
It's expensive, I know, but look how easy it is to put that on. It doesn't just drop off and land all over your feet, right? Sometimes it's just worth it to pay the extra money. Now in this situation, I need it specifically for the fact that I'm going to be mounting this tile on this wall underneath the stick. Okay? So we're going to show you a demonstration of how well this stuff works. We can all lines go in the same direction. We don't need a back butter because it's dry space, it's not a wet area here. But if you want to take full advantage of the suction capacity and the holding power of the cement, back butter your tile. Okay? It helps to create the vacuum. Just fill in all these grooves. Okay, here we go. When you do this is you want to set it 1.5 inch higher than you want it. Right? And then collapse the ridges with pressure. There we go. Now I'm going to use these screws just to make sure that it's not moving while it sets, okay? We're going to work on the next one.
Oh, no.
5 to 6 minutes. This will set up enough that I can pull the screws out and it won't move. It's a little ridiculous. That is the case. I'm also going to want to set in my leveling clips at this point. Okay. The rating on this tile for carrying 40 pounds is actually for on a ceiling. Okay? It holds really well on the ceiling. On a wall, because it's a heavy stone, still a little bit of sag. You gotta give it some setup time. But this is gonna work just fine. Okay, now I have to do the same thing with the next tile. Bring it over, get it scribed, cut it, and then we'll just build down, knowing that now we've got a level, plumb, perfectly spaced, and everything in this entire bathroom can be built off of that back wall grout line. All there is to do now is go to the time lapse, and then we'll show you about grouting and finishing and sealing this up when you're done. You're not going to get mold developed later. Oh, but before the time lapse, let's just talk about dropping the center line and how to set up your marks so that you're always working from the middle and then left and then right from that center line. Just to make it quick. Alright, so what we're going to do, instead of measuring the totality of this structure, we have two options. We can go center of the tub or center of the structure. I'm going to let you decide what you want to do in that. On here I have a 2x6 wall. Here I have a 2x8 wall. The line is going to be so close it won't be funny. If I'm out an inch and a half here on the tub, it's going to look really out of balance from here to here.
It's a real fine line to walk.
So I'm going to go interior to the tub.
If you want a really nice finish, you gotta go on heavy with these cans.
On the inside, right? Because this is an extra size. So 65
If
and
you
a
go
half.
on too heavy,
32
then
and a half.
obviously you're gonna get runs.
Measure width. Okay. Now I'm just going to drop a laser line on it. There we go. This represents my grid line. So there you go. Now I've got a line to measure. Okay? So I can measure from here to this point. Right in the middle of that time. Remember, over here I'm going to be putting the plastic edging. So I got only going for that plastic edge. So I'm going to finish at that point. And then the top tile will also sit flush with that point. And it'll be about there, and then there'll be a plastic edge line as well. So this is how we figured it, right in the middle of this tile to my line. Okay? So now I can take this measurement, and I can install that tile, and then I can take this measurement to the wall, and I can install that tile. Nice and simple. Okay, so we've got our faucet fixture finishing here all laid out. Generally, you want to go through all the instructions first, and then double check that you've got all the right
I'll
little.
show you guys what I got.
Okay, the little Allen key for the set screws comes in the package. And so we're just going to go through the assembly system here. There is a little ring here that is going to be used as a locking pin for the plate. Okay, so this is actually going to get connected by 3 different functions, and all 3 of them have a different way of putting pressure on the plate to hold it tight to the wall. So it's going to look really amazing when it's done, but here we go. Let's just, step 1. This is brilliant. There's going to be a little hole in the tube that always leaves at the front, just in case any water finds its way in here. That's all that's for. Okay? Nice and...
We're gonna let her dry.
Now,
Alright,
now we can put this back
so
on.
we've given it some time to dry here.
And now
It looks freaking sweet.
we can measure
So now,
from inside the back fitting,
and I polished up my lens.
right from there, okay, up to
So
this point right here.
now would be time to
Alright?
stick that thing back in there. Just like so. Then put your screws back in.
4.5.
And I have got the back side of this. The other side of the headlight is in the oven right now at 270 for another 10 minutes to reheat the glue that was on it. And I use
Just
this stuff. Some super clear silicone gasket.
Well, the reason I didn't cut it,
And I run it in the inside of the lip where this would go
it's really hard for this thing to do a good job.
on the black housing.
This experience, so.
And then just snap it all together and reverse the process.
Okay, well, this is where this gets interesting because thing we're installing
All right.
anywhere in your house.
So we've got silicone back in there.
Plies and plugs, light fixtures. We're
I
gonna
don't really have nowhere to put my phone here.
We're gonna do anything you have to attach to the wall, really. Okay. So we're gonna have a bunch of different
Okay.
processes we're going through.
So, silicone
We're gonna do
back around the edge of that.
whatever we need to do. We're gonna show you how to use the basic hand tools to get all this done.
I just took it out of the oven, so it's still warm, and I'm trying to get to it while it's warm here.
This should be a lot of help. It'll be pretty condensed. Hopefully, you'll learn something new for the first time here. So let's just jump right into this.
I'll take her.
Generally speaking, I like to work from the top
Snap her
down.
back in there she came out.
And that is easy because if I do the lighting, then I can turn the lights on. All right. So, because we have the camera here today, we have artificial lighting. We have our own lights. I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I'm going to install one of these light fixtures. And I'm also going to install a mirror. And I'm going to use a laser line for this, okay? Because we are looking for perfection here. Whenever you're doing a project, you want to use the center of your faucet to be exactly the distance, middle distance between your light fixtures, all these kinds of things. You really want to think end from the beginning, frame everything, put your boxes in with the end goal in mind, okay? So right now we've got this all set up so it's double sync, 2 oval mirrors, and the gap between the light fixture and each mirror edge is exactly the same all along this wall. So I think we're going to get a great finish. This is my center line. I've lined it up on the sink here. And what we're going to do is, what's easier for the camera? I'll get on this side of the line. How's that? So I've already measured this off to be exactly centered between the 2 light boxes. and it's right on my tap, which is what it should have been. If you're not sure how I came to that conclusion, you can watch the previous video on how to go from a single to a double sink, okay? Pretty sure we cover all the information on how to line up your boxes. Put a reference mark here, just in case I end up kicking the light as I go along. Okay, so this is our mirror. Nice oval, see? That's why I put that pencil in there. I'm going to want to have that for reference, so we will put that back and start on that. Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to go and look for what looks the best, right? I don't need to see the ceiling, and I'm 5'10" and a half, 5'11" in my dad's shoes, right? So I'm going to bring it down just a bit. This is good. My thumbs are actually about 2 inches below where the electrical box is. I like that. I can see everything I'm wearing. I can see right to the countertop. I think that's going to work out well. So we're going to keep that in mind. And we're going to take a look at the light fixture. That hole mounts right in the middle of the box. And the light centers a little bit below this. So that means the center line in this mirror should be about 1.5 inches below the box. So that's a good spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now what I can do with my laser is I can raise this bad boy up. And the reason I love to use this is because I'm doing more than one mirror. If you're only doing one mirror, you can do all kinds of cheating here. But so when you're doing two, you gotta have a system that you can duplicate. Because you can see the hooks in the back. These
now you've got one screw,
2 screw plugs in the wall, and you hang it
right there.
It's not a
Got
lot
tiny
of
little guy.
so you gotta get this pretty dead on. Now, there's my laser line, about 2 inches below the box. We're gonna call that the center. Okay? So now I'm gonna find the center of my mirror, about there. Okay? I'm gonna put a line.
Here's what she looks like.
All right. Here we go. From that line,
It's
I'm
cleaned,
gonna go
obviously.
9 inches. So what I'm gonna do is I'm
But
gonna
what
measure
I'm gonna
9
do
inches.
is
This is gonna be the
lay it
height
on its
of
back
my
like
hooks.
that.
And this is my center line, right?
Take my
There we
microfiber,
go. And my hooks, my screw heads.
lay it
are
on the
gonna be
face of it.
7
And I've
3/4
got
inches apart.
2 25-pound
Let's just
dumbbells
do it. So let's change this again.
that I'm gonna leave sitting on it.
Bathrooms are always so much fun because there's never enough room here to move.
Keep extra pressure on it while it all sets up.
Okay.
So,
7 and 5
Thanks
eighths.
again.
If you're not good with math, you take your 7
hopefully
and
it
5 eighths, and that's
turns out pretty good for you guys.
Okay.